What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Niner Sickness Podcast, just talking football. How is everyone doing today? Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful time. All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Niner Sickness Podcast, just talking football. How is everyone doing today? Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful time. All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of going on here? Niner Sickness Podcast, just talking football. How is everyone doing today? Hope you guys are having a wonderful. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulty. It never fails. When you do live, you're always going to run into some technical difficulty that it's going to, you can prepare for everything right before you go live. You can have everything working just the way you want it to. Have everything set up, the volume, the microphone, the camera. You can have everything pretty much where you want it. And as soon as you go live, all heck breaks loose. I don't know what it is, but it happens, guys. It happens. So, Jimmy, want to say hello to Jimmy? What's up, Jimmy? Welcome. Welcome. Give me a second. Make sure we are on the same page here. Boom. We got Don Dotson in the house. How you doing, Don? Welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Welcome. Let's see here. Please do not forget to hit Debo that like button. And also, please do not forget to subscribe. Yes, please make sure to subscribe. I apologize, guys. I really, really do. You get everything set up just the way you want it. Perfect. Just the way you want it. And as soon as you play go, and you start the live, everything just kind of breaks down. So my apologies for that, but that's not going to hold us back from talking football. It's not going to hold me back from talking football. We're definitely going to talk some football. We're going to enjoy each other's company for a while on this Thursday afternoon. How is everybody doing? I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful evening. How was your day, Don? Jimmy Perez, how was your day? Let me know in the comments how your day was. Would like to know. Let's see here. I'm trying to make sure everything else is working because I appreciate that. Don, thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. But it's funny. It's really funny, man. I had everything organized, everything set up for about a half hour. Make sure everything was working fine because I'm trying some new things. And everything looked good. I tested it. I triple tested it. And like I said, the minute I went live, everything went to poops. But it's all good. It's all good. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me one. Okay. Let's see if this works. Well, the combine started today. For those that follow the combine, if you're like me and you're a football nerd and you follow the combine started today, throughout Saturday. No defensive coordinator yet for the San Francisco 49ers. What's going on? What's happening? Why don't we have a defensive coordinator? Is that something that we should worry about as Niner fans? Or is it something that Kyle has under control? I mean, it's kind of late in February. Don't you think that it would be nice if we knew who our DC would be by now? Or does it matter that we know? It matters that they know. Does it really matter that we know? That is $100 million question. That is the $1 million question. Let's see here. What did I miss? Oh, I missed this. Let me bring that back up. Hold on. You are going to have a huge snowstorm. Oh my goodness. I will definitely be keeping you, your husband, and your daughters, and everybody in your community in our prayers, that God will protect you guys, that it will not hit you guys, and that you guys go through it pretty fast and safe. I never been through a snowstorm, so I couldn't imagine what your mind or how your mind is racing right now, especially if you've been through it before or similar. I couldn't imagine, but I'll keep you guys in prayer that nothing serious happens your way. So, the San Francisco 49ers are getting ready for the combine. They're getting ready for the draft. We have a couple of free agents that need to be addressed. Now, out of the free agents, hold on, guys. Out of the free agents that are available to sign again, who do you guys think it's important to sign? Now, I'm going to bring the names of those free agents. What's up, Tony? Tony, welcome. Welcome. So let me type in here 49ers free agents, because I'm curious to see 2024 free. All right, so here we go. The free agents that the Niners need to consider to bring back, and I want to get your guys' input on this. Randy Gregory. We have Chase Young, Sam Darnold, Javon Kinlaw, Isaiah Oliver. Now, Isaiah was cut, so he doesn't matter. He was cut, and good riddance. Tashawn Gibson. We got Sebastian Joseph Day, Oren Burks, Clinton Farrell, John Feliciano, Kevin Givens, Ray McLeod, Demetrius Fagan Foles, DFF, Ross Dwally, Brandon Allen, Chris Conley, Logan Ryan, Matt Pryor, Juwan Jennings, Ben Barch, Charlie Warner, and Torres Mitchell. Those are your free agents that the Niners have to work with. Now, out of the names that I mentioned, I want to talk about a couple of key players that I think are very important to bring back to the fold. Now, Chase Young probably outpriced himself. What's up? How about them Niners? Welcome to the channel, my friend. Chase Young is going to test the market. He's going to see teams out there, what they're willing to pay for a defensive end of Chase Young. Now, did he have a great outlook with us when he came over from Washington? I think he did some great things. Some things were not so great. But I also believe that he is someone that takes the pressure off Nick Bosa. He helps out with the two guys inside, Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave. The question is he going to outprice himself from the 49ers? Are the 49ers not going to pay him the money that other teams may pay him? Now, there are always teams out there. Honestly, there's teams out there that are very, very needy at defensive end. And whether or not Chase Young deserves that contract, there are teams that need a defensive end. And they will overpay for a caliber of defensive end as we have in Chase Young. Would I like to bring him back? Absolutely. Will he be back? I really don't know. We'll see. What's up, Eric? Welcome to the channel, Eric. Good to see you, my friend. Randy Gregory did not do as much as I would have liked him to. I don't think he was very effective. He was okay as a rotational piece to the defensive ends that we have. Can the Niners bring him back? Absolutely. Will they bring him back? That's the question we're going to see in free agency coming up shortly. Now, I'll mention the guys that I don't mind losing. I don't want to lose them, but I don't mind losing them. What's up? Luis Moreno is in the house. How you doing, Luis Moreno? Welcome to the channel, my friend. He says, what's up, Beto? Chase Young should stay for 1 year. Prove it deal. One game is not going to define him. And does he really want to go to the bottom feeders? Money talks, Luis. Money talks, brother. This whole, he wants to play with Nick Bosa, his buddy from Ohio State. None of that matters when it comes to money. We all know this. Money talks, and what team out there is going to overpay for someone like Chase Young? There's going to be a team out there that desperately needs some type of pass rush, and they're going to overpay. And I believe that Chase Young will outprice himself, and most likely he won't be back. Do I want him back? Of course. But I'm not going to overpay to have him back. Daniel Cantu, welcome, sir. Welcome to the channel. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Javon Kinlaw. Now, this guy is an interesting individual. Javon Kinlaw. We drafted him in the first round. I think we took him at 17, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. And because of injury, he really didn't work out to the liking of the 49ers. He was replacing a big name like DeForest Buckner. Going into the DeForest Buckner's shoes did not help someone like Kinlaw. Then he dealt with injuries, wasn't able to stay on the field, wasn't able to be effective because of the injuries, and he kind of trembled downwards. So much that the Niners decided last offseason, let's go and get Javon Hargrave and pay him the money that we paid him. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. Since Javon Kinlaw was no longer the starter and he was the backup, a rotational piece, and he got healthy, he was very effective in the pass rush. He was very effective in stopping the run. Is this a guy that we can bring back at a decent cost? Will he test the market? Is there going to be a team out there that is going to pay? That is going to pay for Javon Kinlaw's services? When I mean pay, I mean overpay. Is there going to be a desperate team out there that is going to overpay for the services of one Javon Kinlaw? Maybe. I would love for Javon Kinlaw to come back at a reasonable price. I would like to sign him for one more year and make sure that what he did for us in 2023, it wasn't a fluke. Some people have told me we should sign him for 3 years. No, we shouldn't. What happens if he reverts back to 2021 and 2022? I would like to see another year of Javon Kinlaw before I decide that we should give him more than 1 year. What's up, Niners Ultimate Report? John J. is in the house. How you doing, John J? Welcome, sir. Good to see you, my friend. He says, what's up, Beto? How are you doing? I am doing great. It is a Thursday night. Wanted to do some football conversation with the great people like yourself on a Thursday night and just hanging out, talking 49er football. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Kinlaw, Solomon Thomas 2.0, both are bust. That's an interesting take, Luis. Do I like Javon Kinlaw as a starter? No. Do I like him as a rotational piece with minimum snaps? Absolutely. I like what Javon Kinlaw did. I like the way he came in and the few snaps that he got per game and was able to take advantage of his opportunities. I do like that about Javon. But this is why I feel that if we do keep him, maybe teams out there will not take no risk on him. Maybe there's teams out there that are like, we saw what he did in 2023, but we also know he gets hurt. So maybe, just maybe, teams do not take a flyer on him. And if teams do not want to pay him, that benefits us. That benefits us because it'll give us the opportunity to bring him back at a respectable price as a backup, not a starter. With our salary cap, it will be hard to keep most of the free agents. Actually, with that amount of money, Tony Smith, great question, by the way, with the money that the NFL was able to put out this offseason at $255.4 million, an increase of 13.3, I believe. And the Niners, if you recall, they're rolling over $38 million from last season. There are a couple of players that the Niners can restructure and they can free up some money. So to me personally, they'll be able to sign Brandon Ayuk. They'll be able to bring back certain free agents if they do want to come back for the right price. And they can possibly bring in a free agent, maybe day 2. I don't expect a big splash like we did last year with Javon Hargrave. I don't expect a day 1 free agent, maybe a day 2, a day 3 free agent that kind of fell through the cracks. We can bring in and see what they can do. But financially, we'll be fine. The Niners have money. The Niners have money to take care of their free agents if they want to bring them back. Sign Brandon Ayuk, which, listen, there is no guarantees in life. I understand. No guarantees. But there is a track record, right? There's a track record of your San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers have shown us that if they like a player, they will take care of that player. They did it with George Kittle. They did it with Fred Warner. They did it with Deebo Samuel. And remember, the whole Deebo Samuel saga. He wants to be traded. He's not going to come back. He wants too much money. All the things, all the vultures were just circling around that. And Deebo himself said that a lot of the stuff that people were talking about wasn't even true. He had a great conversation and open communication with the Niners. And at the end of the day, the Niners took care of Deebo, and Deebo was locked up. Bosa, the following year. People thought he was not going to play week 1. People thought he was going to hold out in the regular season. None of that happened. The San Francisco 49ers took care of Nick Bosa. I have complete confidence that they're going to take care of Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk will not be traded. And he's not going to be tagged, or he's going to be re-signed, and he's going to be happy, and the Niners are going to be happy. It might be late or middle August before we find out, but have your patience, have your faith. The Niners have always come through with players they fall in love with, and particularly players they drafted. If we didn't have a track record, I would probably be, if Brandon Ayuk was our first player to restructure, not to restructure, but to re-sign, I will be nervous. But how can I be nervous knowing that the Niners have brought back all the names that I mentioned? What's up, Crazy Juice? Welcome to the channel, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Don says, the rain is coming back. Need to change my phone just in case we have a power outage. See you on the next live. All right, Don. Have a wonderful evening. Be safe out there. And I'll be keeping you and your family and your community in my prayers. You are right. If they restructure the contract, it is possible. And they will. People like Fred Warner, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. They'll restructure him. George Kittle isn't going anywhere. They can restructure Nick Bosa. He's not going anywhere. I am not concerned financially. The Niners will bring in who they think will help this team get better. They rather build through the draft, but they'll supplement through free agency. Luis Moreno says, can we get rid of Debo? Hear me out. The wide receiver and free agency is stacked. Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., etc. Now, let me ask you, Luis, and I'm being serious. What is it of Debo that you're not pleased with? From your perspective, honest question, what is it about Debo that you're like, let's just get rid of him? Let's get rid of him. There's, like you said, there's Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., etc. There's other types of receivers that we can look at. But what is it about Debo Samuel, Luis Moreno, that you're like, I'm ready to move on? I'm very curious. What's up, 49er Media in the house? How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Debo Samuel, to me, is special. I love Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is definitely, in my opinion, a true number one receiver. But the things that we can do with Debo Samuel, the way that defenses have to respect Debo Samuel on the field is important. The way defensive coordinators have to game plan for someone like Debo, especially when you have Debo Samuel, you have Christian McCaffrey. Those two bring nightmares towards defensive coordinators' game plan. Have you noticed that when Debo Samuel is not on the field, defenses play us different? Their formation, the way they call their defense. But when Debo is on the field, whether he gets the ball or not, defense play our offense completely different. And that's what Debo personally brings to the table. That's what Debo brings to the table. This is what I like about Debo myself. I think Debo is a very special type of player. He's not your number one receiver. He's not, but he is that utility knife. He, to me, is that complete utility knife that you can use in your arsenal. Remember that tight end? I can't think of his name. He left us and went in free agency to oh my God, Tennessee, to the Titans. Do you guys remember the tight end that I'm talking about? Something Walker. Darnell Walker or Darnelly Walker. I believe I'm probably butchering his name. But he was someone that defenses had to prepare for. And this is what defenses have to do for Deebo Samuel. Andrew Martinez, thank you, senor. Yes, Darnelly Walker. Thank you, Andrew and 49er Media. Appreciate that. Cubo, ¿qué pasa, Beto? What's up, brother? We got David McNiner in the house. What's up, David? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. We got my boy that I mentioned his name already. We got my boy, Andrew Martinez, in the house. What's up, Andrew? Welcome to the channel. So to me, Deebo is a very important part of this offense. I love Deebo. I love Ayuk. Ayuk is that bona fide number one receiver. But Deebo Samuel, he's that utility knife that you either put him on the backfield, you throw him the ball. There's so many things you can do when Deebo is in the lineup. I think Deebo is very important to what the Niners do offensively. Now, his style of play, he does unfortunately get hurt. And he doesn't play he misses games, unlike Brandon Ayuk. But the style of player that Deebo is, he's going to miss games. That's just part of his style, just like Kittle. Now, Kittle has slowed down a little bit now that he's a little bit older. But these guys, they want to physically punish you when the ball is not in their hands. They block for whoever has the ball in their hand. Their style of play, Deebo and Kittle, are dominant. And therefore, unfortunately, we're going to be in situations where we're not going to have them for a game or two. But I wouldn't change any style of their game. I love their attitude. I love how they like to punish D-backs. They're not afraid to go against a linebacker. I just love the way Deebo plays. Sure. Does it suck if he gets hurt? Absolutely. But I wouldn't change it. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. Would you change the style of play of Deebo? Or would you let him be who he is, that dog that he is? I just think they overpaid for Deebo. The way he plays, get him hurt every year. And what do you always say? His best ability is his availability. It is 100% true. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position you play. You can be the best at the position that you play, but if you're not available, you're not helping the team. So from that perspective, I understand your legitimate concern about the health of Deebo. But when he has the ball in his hands, he is exciting to watch. I don't know about you guys, but whenever they put the ball in Debo's hand, I'm expecting something special. Let me know in the comments if I'm the only one that feels this way. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel something special coming when CMC, Brandon, Kittle, the rest of Jawan Jennings. And we're going to talk about Jawan Jennings because I don't think this kid gets the respect that he deserves. This kid to me is the real deal. I love Jawan Jennings. But getting back to Debo, whenever the ball is in his hands, I light up. I'm excited. I'm fired up. I want to see what kind of damage he's going to do to a poor defender. Is he going to juke him? Is he going to put his hand on his head and on his helmet and push him down? The stiff arm? What is Debo going to do to upset a defensive player? What's up, Javier Rios? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my friend. Let's see here. Charge. That's true. With Debo, we can do a lot. Well, it's hard to win the big one. Now, if you are a Chiefs fan, you're like, no, it's not. Listen, a lot of you guys are young and don't remember the Super Bowls of the 80s. And you guys seen 3 Super Bowls and 3 losses in the Super Bowl. Some people are calling us the Buffalo Bills, which we're not, by the way. How many rings do the Buffalo Bills have? 0. How many rings do the Niners have? 5. We're not the Bills. I don't care if the Bills never won a Super Bowl. I don't care if we went to 3 Super Bowls and we lost. We're not the Buffalo Bills. Period. But I was raised following the Niners in an era when we were dominant. We were dominant with Joe Montana. We were dominant with Steve Young. No matter who we played in the Super Bowl, we were kicking some. No matter who we played in the Super Bowl, the Niners were handling their business. So I was in an era where I got to enjoy 5 Super Bowl wins. I understand you guys want to experience that. And I want you guys to experience for yourself as well. Now, back then, we were such a dominant team. We were the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay? Back in the 80s, we were the Kansas City Chiefs. We had our quarterback in Joe Montana, the way they have Patrick Mahomes. We had our coach in Bill Walsh, the way they have their coach in Andy Reid. And we were always dominating teams in the AFC, particularly in the Super Bowl. And what these 3 losses in the Super Bowl has taught me, what has taught me, if I can be real, and I don't mean to offend anyone, that is not my objective, but if the 3 losses that we occurred, the first one in 2012, 2019, and now 2023, is one thing. I was spoiled. I was spoiled. Back in the 80s, anybody that was watching football live in the 80s, like myself, we were spoiled. We were the top of the cream. It didn't matter who we played. We were the Kansas City Chiefs of today. Kansas City won back-to-back. We won back-to-back. That's hard to do. No matter what happens, as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, you're going to win games. With us, as long as we had Joe Montana, the GOAT, we were going to win games because Joe Montana was going to make it happen. So, we were spoiled. Now I understand how the Cincinnati Bengals of the 80s felt. Remember, we beat them twice. We played the Bengals twice in Super Bowls, and we beat them. Unfortunately, we played the Chiefs twice, and they beat us. So from a person that has seen the game from day one to today, and what I mean by day one, I'm talking about Super Bowls era that we won. I know how it feels to lose to the same team twice. It sucks. When Miami and Dan Marino, the best offense in the NFL that year, they were the best of the cream. That offense was humming. They were humming in that offense. And they came to Palo Alto and got their butts kicked by the 49ers. The Denver Broncos. John Elway. These guys were a great, dominating team in the AFC. The Broncos were dominating the AFC back in the 80s. And they came and played us in New Orleans, and they got their butts kicked 55-10 by your San Francisco 49ers. It did not matter who we played. We were dominating. We play the Chargers. Steve Young is now the commander-in-chief behind the center. We brought in Dion. We brought in Ricky, not Ricky Waters, but Ricky Jackson from the Saints. We brought, I can't think of the names or not, but we brought a lot of players that year, and we went out and beat Dallas that we were having a hard time trying to get over. And we finally went to the Super Bowl and handled our business against the Chargers. Unfortunately, these last three Super Bowl appearances, we have lost. And it sucks in general, and it sucks for you guys who have not experienced a true Super Bowl win. But let me tell you, this team is set up to win. Now, we need luck. We do. We need luck along the way. We got to stay healthy. But this team is primed to make it to the Super Bowl again in 2024. I understand the teams that lose, they have what you call the hangover. Now, in 2019, when we went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs, we didn't go back until 2023. But COVID came in out of nowhere. We had Jimmy Garoppolo as our quarterback. I know we lost the Super Bowl. I know it sucks. I know you guys want to win with, but I want to encourage you guys, honestly. I want to encourage you guys that Brock Purdy is the real deal. Brock Purdy is the quarterback that will bring that 6th Lombardi trophy to San Francisco. I have no doubt. Some people may still question his ability. He's not that tall. He doesn't have a strong arm, etc., blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, this kid has it. This kid is the real deal. When I seen him play last year, anybody that follows me, anybody that knows me personally or on social media, know the minute that Brock Purdy came in and took over for Garoppolo against Miami, I fell in love with this kid. I had the highest hopes for Trey Lance. I wanted Trey Lance to be successful. I wanted Trey Lance to be the guy in San Francisco. I wanted Trey Lance to be that guy, the Josh Allen for the 49ers. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Regardless of what we gave up to get him, he did not work out the way the Niners envisioned him working out. Lucky for the Niners, they drafted this kid in the freaking 7th round with the last pick. Imagine being John and Kyle. There's Brock Purdy, and then there's John Doe. Right? Now, we only know that we took Brock Purdy with the last pick because that was the pick. But imagine with me, if you will, being in the war room. There's Brock Purdy on the board, and there's John Doe, whether it was a receiver, whether whatever position, or maybe another quarterback. Imagine if there was a moment in that war room where they thought, you know what, let's go with John Doe, and maybe we can get Brock as a free agent. Now, I don't know about you, but aren't you glad they took him? Aren't you glad they took Brock Purdy? I can tell you this. I know there's not that many fans that like Kyle Shanahan. There are a few of you that would want him fired. Why? I don't know. But there are. And that's okay. Not for me, but for you guys, if that's what you guys want. But Brock Purdy saved Kyle's butt. Brock Purdy saved Kyle's butt. It sucks that we gave up 3 number ones to move up to get Trey Lance, and then he fails. Or he just needed more time to develop, and the Niners did not have that time. Whatever the case, however you want to dice it and slice it, he didn't work out. Going to Jed York and saying, hey, the guy that we move up to get that hasn't been the guy that we thought he would be. But the guy that we took in the 7th round looks pretty damn good. For Jed York, it's easier to swallow the idea that they're getting rid of the quarterback they gave up 3 number ones to go and get. But because they have Brock Purdy, it's an easier pill to swallow. Imagine for a moment, Brock Purdy does not exist. And Trey Lance still wasn't the guy. Then what? Then what? What would be of the Niners right now? Now, I love Trey Lance. I'm not going to be on the topic too much. I'm going to move on. I love Trey Lance. I know that Trey Lance was a favorite of many of you. He was my favorite. I wanted him to be drafted. He was drafted. I still wish him the best. Not with the Cowboys, but I wish him the best. But when I seen Brock Purdy play against Miami, the way that he came in, the poise, the calmness, the way he was delivering the ball, everything about Brock Purdy excited me from that day forward. From that day forward, Trey Lance was my ex and Brock Purdy was my new girl, so to speak. And Brock Purdy has not disappointed me at all. Please do not fall in the cycles of these so-called experts. Don't listen to these so-called experts talk about Brock Purdy, where you might be discouraged. You might hear the Wrights. You might hear the Smiths. You might hear the Shannon. You might hear these people talk about Brock Purdy. Well, he's not tall enough. He's not an elite quarterback. You can't put the team on his back. He's not a Josh Allen. He's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not a Joe Burrow. He's not a Lamar Jackson. And they're right. He is none of them. Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy. And I believe without a shot of a doubt, whether you guys agree with me or not, that Brock Purdy is capable and will win us a Super Bowl. If you saw the Super Bowl, regardless of your emotions, how you felt because we lost, Brock Purdy played damn well. He was under duress in that game. Chris Jones was living in the backfield. And Brock Purdy never threw an interception. First time ever playing in the biggest game of his life, the Super Bowl. Millions of people watching Brock Purdy, and he never threw an interception. He was poised. He commanded the huddle. He was able to move the ball. This is why I am begging, I am praying that Kyle Shanahan upgrades that offensive line. I pray they address the offensive line. Please, John Lynch, please, Kyle, address the offensive line. Because if you give Brock Purdy more time to get rid of the ball, Brock Purdy is going to execute, and he's going to slice and dice defenses. He's doing it already. We had one of the worst offensive lines, according to PFF and all these other, and yet Brock Purdy led most of every category there was. Imagine giving Brock Purdy more time, what he can do. Jose Avila, welcome, sir. welcome. Good to see you. We got a Facebook user. Unfortunately, it doesn't show your name. You got to put your name at the end of the comment, or make your way over to YouTube, or you can click on this right here. Let me put it on for you guys. Let me put it on there. Hold on. All right. Didn't take it. Give me a second. Copy. All right. It copied. Let me put it on there. Click on that link. Click on the link that I put on there, and it will allow you to show your name so that I can identify you by name. Yes, it sure did. And imagine if we give him protection. Imagine giving Brock Purdy protection on the right side. The things that Brock Purdy can do. My goodness. My goodness. Brock Purdy was amazing in 2023. He just came off an elbow injury, surgery. None of us thought he was going to start week one. A lot of us thought he was going to miss a lot of games. The Niners themselves went out and talked to Tom Brady because they did not know the timetable of Brock Purdy. And to be honest with you, they didn't know Brock Purdy was going to be the Brock Purdy of old. Whenever you sustain an injury, there are chances that you are worse than you were before, unfortunately. So the Niners were taking every precaution they could. And Brock Purdy came back, played from week one all the way through the end of the Super Bowl, and he was amazing. Did he have some hiccups? Every quarterback has hiccups. But imagine if we can protect him. Imagine if we can protect Brock Purdy. What Brock Purdy can do. I don't know, Bethel, I remember you were Bethel. I think you meant to say Beto. But okay, we'll go with Bethel. I remember you were pretty upset when we got rid of Trey Lance to keep Purdy as a starter. You weren't very fond of him. You were really... show me that video. And I'm not saying that you're lying, Jose. I'm not. But maybe I was. Listen, when we lost Trey, I was upset because I like Trey. I like Trey. I wanted Trey to be successful. I wanted him to be successful. But since Brock Purdy took over and against the Miami Dolphins, I was a Brock Purdy fan. And if you watch my videos, they're all on my channel. If you watch my videos from Miami on, you will hear me always talk about Brock Purdy as our starter. Was I upset about Trey Lance leaving? Of course. But you're not going to find a video out there that's going to show me saying, I'd rather keep Trey Lance over Purdy. You're not. Guarantee it. You're not going to find a video out there that says, I'd rather keep Trey Lance over Purdy. I don't care how good Brock Purdy plays. I want Trey Lance to be the starter. You're not going to hear me say that. And if I did, I was probably being comical. You got to look at the whole content. If somebody's sending you a piece, cut piece, you got to read the whole content. But yeah, I was sold on Brock Purdy, and I've been sold on him. I love I do love Trey Lance, but once I saw Brock Purdy, I moved on. Don't fire Shanahan. Demote him to offensive coordinator. But who are you going to bring? See, this is the thing, Mike. And what's up, Mike? Welcome to the channel, by the way. If we demote him to offensive coordinator, which is not going to happen, let's be honest, Mike. I don't know what kind of work you do. I don't know what kind of job you hold. But if you got demoted, would you want to stay there? Let's keep it 100. If your job where you're at today demoted you from what you're doing and hire someone to be above you at the same thing you were doing before, would you really want to be there? Probably not. So that means if we're going to demote Shanahan, that means we're going to let him go. Who do we bring in to replace Shanahan? Who did we bring in? Who is available right now that can come in and do what Shanahan has done? Whether you like Shanahan or not, that's a matter of opinion. But the guy with John Lynch, since he took over in 2017 and he gutted this team. He gutted it all the way down to the core, and they rebuild it from the floor up. They've been to 4 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowl appearances. Let me say that again. They've been to 4 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowl appearances. Now, some people say, we don't play for NFC championship games. We play to win the Super Bowl. Of course we do. Of course we play to win the Super Bowl. But you got to be good enough to have an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. You're not going to find a shitty team that has only won 4 or 5 games and suddenly they appear in the Super Bowl. It doesn't happen. You got to handle your business. You got to win effectively. You got to win your division. You got to do a lot of things to be able to represent your conference in a Super Bowl. The Niners went to 4 NFC championships and 2 Super Bowl appearances. Do I wish they would have won them? Yes. But what Kyle Shanahan, whether he's arrogant, whether he does this right or does that wrong, whether you agree with this, agree with that, nobody can deny. I mean, you can if you want to. But if you love football, you can't deny that since Kyle's been here, the Niners have been fun to watch. I enjoy watching the 49ers play. I remember the Chip Kellys. I remember the Mike Singletaries, the Mike Nolans. The Jim Tunsulas. I remember these coaches. And I don't know about you, but those times it was not fun to watch football, and particularly 49er football. It wasn't fun to watch 49er football. But since Jim Harbaugh came in and took over a stacked team and started to win, it was fun to watch. And then he left. Then we went through the Jim Tunsulas. We went through the Chip Kellys. And I don't know about you, but it was not fun. Then the Niners bring in Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and up to date, it has been fun, at least for me, watching 49er football. Do I wish we would have won the Super Bowls? Of course. But I cannot deny that the Niners have been fun to watch in the regular season. And if they continue to build and they continue to push, one of these times they're going to break through and win it all. But you got to be at the dance floor if you expect to get on the floor. You got to get invited to the dance if you expect to dance. The Dallas Cowboys have not been nowhere near an NFC championship game. The Jets have not been there. The Jaguars. I can go on and on and on. But it's been fun to watch 49er football. At least it has been for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's been fun to watch football for me. 100%. Beto, don't even get me started with the biggest bust in team history. Trash. Lance, don't even bring his name up anymore. Listen, I'm glad that we have Brock Purdy and that Brock Purdy is our quarterback. I'm going to leave it at that. I hear you. That's your opinion. But I'm going to leave it the fact that we have Brock Purdy. He is our quarterback, and we moved on. But I hear you, though. All right. No disrespect, but Brock Purdy kind of reminds me of Steve Young. Not the tallest, not the strongest, but just gets the dog done. And manages the game to perfection. And allows his playmakers to make plays. Now listen, I hear you. I hear you, Jose. I hear you. But this is my thought process. I could be wrong. But if we give Brock Purdy protection in that offensive line, if the Niners address that right side in particularly, to me personally, Brock Purdy is not just going to manage the game. He's not just going to put it in the hands of his playmaker. To me, he is a playmaker. Brock Purdy is a playmaker. Brock Purdy can and has shown that he can put the team on his back. He did it against the Lions. If I asked you in the second quarter, name me two players that willed that team to beat the Lions. Give me two players that willed, that played their butts off, that put their team over on their shoulders and willed their team to come back and beat the Lions. I guarantee you one of those names should be Brock Purdy. Number 11. The last time, what happened? Number 11 coming back. I know we're talking about quarterbacks, but I'm assuming you're switching it over a little bit to Brandon Ayuk, because he's the one wearing 11 right now. I think he will be back. I bet that he will be back. I don't see why not. The kid is a winner. The Niners appreciate him. He's a draft choice from the Niners. He has grown throughout the years being here. There's no reason why the Niners will not pay this man. Listen, Brock Purdy had no offseason last year. Brock Purdy did not have an offseason. He was not able to work on timing with his receivers. He was not able to work on certain putting together packages for the season. He was dealing with rehab. Brock Purdy was dealing with his elbow. He wasn't out there. Now we have Brock. And look at what he did in 2023. The Brock Purdy that did not have an offseason, who was rehabbing, look at the numbers that he put in 2023. Imagine him. A complete offseason. B, a better offensive line. What in the world would make me think that he's not going to improve from 2023 to 2024? Brock Purdy is going to improve, and he's going to play better this year. Better offensive line when they address it, and I believe they will. And he's going to have a complete offseason. And for those that are wondering, well, Brandon Ayuk, because of his contract and he wants to get paid, he's not going to have an offseason with Brock, because yes, he is. Brandon Ayuk is under contract. Remember, he was drafted in the first round. They picked up his 5th-year option. He is under contract. When Debo was up for a renewal, he wasn't. Or he was, but it was different because he wasn't drafted in the first round. He was drafted in the second round. So the whole Debo situation is different. That's why he held out. That's why he didn't practice and all the things that Debo did. Brandon Ayuk is not going to be someone that holds out because he's under contract. Well, what happens if he gets hurt? He's under contract. He has to honor his contract, or he'll be a breach of contract. But it's never going to get that far because the Niners have proven to show loyalty to those players they covet. So I am not worried one bit. Hold on. I took it off. I want to read this. Man, we better not hire Staley, the ex-Chargers head coach. Listen, I'm not pounding the table for him either. I'm not pounding the table for him. But I got to say this. Just because you're not a good head coach does not mean you're not a good coordinator. Nerf Turner, for a lot of you guys that are young, probably don't remember this name. Some of you will. Nerf Turner. He was the quarterback and then became the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys back in the Trey Aikman days. And then he became the Chargers head coach, and then the Raiders did not do so good. He was a Niner offensive coordinator for 1 year in 2005 when we took Alex Smith. Nerf Turner was a great offensive coordinator. Great offensive coordinator. But he sucked as a head coach. Now, I am not pounding the table for Stanley or Staley, whatever his last name is. I'm not. But just because he was unsuccessful as a head coach does not mean he will be unsuccessful as a defensive coordinator. In 2020, he did pretty damn good with the Rams. I'm just saying. Does it mean that I want him? No. But he could be good. Just because he wasn't great at head coach does not mean he cannot be a good defensive coordinator. We need to find a way to get rid of hard grades because it's too much money. Or hard grades. Okay, I'm thinking you're trying to say Hargrave. Javon Hargrave, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. because it says Hargrades, which kind of threw me off. But when you said it's too much money, I'm assuming you're talking about Hargrave. Why would we get rid of Hargrave? Did he have the type of year that he had in Philly? It was his first year with the 49ers. I think Hargrave is going to have a breakout year in 2024. Mark my words. Javon Hargrave will have a breakout year in 2024. About 15, he back, and number 71, he back. Okay, so we're talking about Juwan Jennings and Trent Williams, the silverback. 71, it was going anywhere. He's under contract. Juwan Jennings, it's a different situation. He is a free agent, but he's a restricted free agent. And the fact that they put a tender on him, a second round tender, shows me and should show all of you that the Niners think highly of Juwan Jennings. I know some people told me, wow, if they like Juwan Jennings, why did they even put a tender? Putting a second round tender on Juwan Jennings shows me the Niners want to re-sign him to a long deal. And why shouldn't they? This kid is amazing. I love his attitude. I love his swagger. I love the way he plays. Third and Juwan. I love everything about Juwan. It's been over an hour. I'm going to shut this down. He was the one calling the defense. So, yes, he was the defensive coordinator, and that's why he was horrible head coach. But you got to remember, even though he was calling the defense for the Chargers, he had to wear many hats. People don't realize, even if you call the defense, because that's what you do, he still had to keep his head on the offense. He still had to watch the special teams, the positional coaches like the running backs, the linebackers, the D-backs. He had to wear multiple hats. Yes, he still wore his defensive play calling, but he had to wear other hats as well. If he gets hired with the Niners or wherever he goes, he's only have to worry about just the defense. And it's easier to deal with just the defense than it is to wear multiple hats. I believe the Niners are going to address the tight end position. Kittle is getting up in age. It really don't have the number 2. I don't know what's going to happen with Cameron Latou, the tight end that we took last year from Alabama. I still need to see more of him this year to kind of get an idea. Will they draft a tight end in this draft? Possibly. I'm trying to think about the other kid. The kid he played, number 9. I can't think of him. Willis is his last name. I don't know. We'll see. Can the Niners draft a tight end? Possibly. Do they need to? I don't think so. I believe the Niners are going to address the... Okay, I think I read that one. Let me click on this one. Beto. Stop beating around the bush. You really want Staley to be called our defensive. I don't know no, but I believe everybody here kind of agrees with me. We don't want him. I mean, I don't know where you get the idea that I want him, specifically when I said I'm not pounding the table for him. But as a content creator, as someone that speaks football, I got to let you guys know that I've seen North Turners of the world. I've seen coordinators that are not good head coaches, but they're great at their position. And I had to address that. But I don't know where you got the idea that I'm actually really wanting him in the background, like, oh, I hope they get him. Because I want the Niners to bring the guy from the Jets, the D-back from the Jets. I forgot his name. I like him. I know they interviewed the D-back for the Chiefs. Anytime you can take somebody away from the Chiefs, it's great. People say, well, the Niners are probably going to promote within. Weird stuff has happened. But the reason why I don't feel the Niners will address the D coordinator job within is if they would have did it last year. They would have did it last year. They went out and got Steve Wilkes over the same two guys they're looking at this year. And you can't tell me that these guys got better over just 1 year. Like, from last offseason to this offseason, they just blew the mind out of Kyle. Now, if they think that there's nobody out there that can really, really handle the coordinator job, and they're looking forward to maybe adding a coordinator next year, because you got to remember, the Niners started late. They were in the Super Bowl. The time to go after the coordinator would have been as soon as the season was over. But they finished the Super Bowl, they fired Steve Wilkes, and by the time they're ready to search for a replacement, a lot of those coaching jobs were taken. A lot of those coaches, that were available for that position were taken by other teams. So I believe the Niners started behind the eight ball, and they might be stuck because of that. If that's the case, then I can see them hiring within for 1 year. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then they can pursue someone else next offseason. But because they were in the Super Bowl and because they fired Steve Wilkes in February, and most of the coordinators that took defensive spots were hired in January, the Niners are in a hard spot. What's up, Brandon? Sorry, Bash. What's up, Bash? 49er minded. How are you doing, sir? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. The Niners might be forced to hire one of the guys within for a year, just so they can see what they have the next offseason. I know that we're pushing for Jeff Oberich, but I didn't I never saw the Jets letting him go. Why would the Jets do that? Why would the Jets let go of Jeff Ulbrich this late? And then now they have to find someone. And according to them, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt, they might be in contention. So no, I never, even when I heard it, I never expected Jeff Ulbrich to come to the Niners. I think we're taking this long to find someone because we started late in the game. So we might be settling for a 1-year spot. And it sucks because we're a Super Bowl contender now, but we'll see what happens. Yes, wipe your patas. You know, I never did none of my things today. Listen, guys, tomorrow, I know you guys heard me talk blah, blah, blah all day today, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. But tomorrow, Friday the 30th. No, today's leap year. So tomorrow is Friday, March 1st. Come and join me and Jess from East Coast Red and Gold at 6 p.m. Pacific here on my channel. So I invite every one of you to come and join me and Jess, Niner Jess, from East Coast Red and Gold at 6 p.m. tomorrow, March 1st at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll talk football, and I will let her do the most of the talking since you guys already heard a lot of me today. I really like our defense line coach, Chris Kocurek. Don't remember his name, Chris Kocurek. But I believe you will make a great defensive coordinator. The whole defense respects him. Okay, now you flattered me for a minute there, Jose, because you put on there, I believe you, referring to me. I think you meant to say you believe he will make a good defensive coordinator. So thank you for flattering me for a second, and then I realized you were not talking about me. It's okay, though. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Chris Kocurek has mentioned multiple times whether he can be a great coordinator, defensive coordinator, will ever be a mystery because according to him, he likes being a D-line coach. And he has no desire ever becoming a defensive coordinator. So maybe he would be great, maybe he won't. But we're not going to find no time soon because he wants to stay put where he's at. All right, guys. I'm losing my voice. That's an indication that I talked too much. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Thursday night. Have a wonderful evening. See you guys tomorrow, God willing, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Me and Niner Jess will be handling business on the Niners Now podcast here on my channel. All right, guys. God bless. Remember, Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you mañana. Peace. Go Niners.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,